seems lost, thoughts lead you astray. Then I cry, then I feel pain. Why do I
Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. I hope you're having a most magnificent Sunday night. Sorry for the minor delay there. I had to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with the thumbnails and make it that this is indeed the Tier 2 stream, not the Tier 1 stream. So welcome in. I hope you're having a great night. Thank you very much for joining us. It is, of course, Sunday night, which means it's Moose Racing League night. It's MRL, as you can see from the beautiful logo we've got up in the top right-hand corner there of this little screen. And I have absolute great pleasure in welcoming you to Great Britain for the British Grand Prix around the iconic circuit, of course, of Silverstone. I hope you're looking forward to it. There's been some fantastic racing so far, and I'm pretty sure we will get into it. I gave you a brief glimpse of the constructors' standings, but we'll take a look. We're just going into the lobby now, so we've got plenty of time to look at this. Currently, it is Alpine that lead the way in the constructors after 3 races with 73 points, 12 points back. It is McLaren on 61 points with the Red Bull team a further 19 points back and therefore 31 points back on 42 points. Kick Sauber in fourth place, on 33, with 2 teams then tied on 29. It's the Mercedes and Haas teams. Good results last time out for the Racing Bulls as they go up 2 spots to be in 7th place on 21 points. It's 16 points for the Aston Martin, who dropped 1. Dropping 1 also is the Ferrari team, down in 9th place on 14 points. And then bringing up the rear, it is the Williams team on 11 points, 62 points off the pace. But let's just see which drivers we've got. Yes, Sebi, how you doing, brother? Let's just see who is making an impact then. It's Mintoki at the top of the driver standing at the moment with an 18-point gap back to Sketchy Bull, who this week, I believe, may well not be here. So Sketchy Bull might not be here. We've only got 17 drivers in the lobby, and the Alpine team is led by Major Castleman this evening. Freddie Rozelle climbing 2 places after the Brazilian Grand Prix last time out. He's up to 32 points, 29 points off the lead. Then we've got 2 drivers tied on 30 points, Happy Like Pie and Major Castleman, the aforementioned Major Castleman. Gwenfro then on 26 points in P6 with Ikami in the Haas on 20 points, 16 points for Com45 in P8. Sharky on 9 points, 10 points we've got Sebi reserving on 13 points, and then it's Angry Shadow. We've lost the person in P12, but that's okay. Right, there are cars making their way out onto what looks like a gloriously sunny Silverstone, but let's just have a quick look at the track. It is, of course, Silverstone, an iconic circuit, well known throughout the globe, of course. 5.8 miles, 3.6 kilometers, and 18 turns, 2 DRS zones, and some elevation for us to contend with throughout the first half of the track, as you can see through sectors 1 and 2. Of course, iconic names in terms of some of those corners, and I will try and remember them. Everybody knows Maggots and Beckett's, of course, but I will try and remember some of the corner names, and we will get ourselves going. Of course, we'll get rid of the driver's standings. We don't need that. And the capture card needs to be deactivated and reactivated as well, because why the devil not? Okay, then, let's get a feel for what is happening. It is a short qualification session here, of course. Looks like we've got, is it Major Castleman who's out first? Yeah, Major Castleman and possibly CJ. Yeah, so Major Castleman and CJ are going to be the first guys to set us a lap tonight in that Alpine on the medium tyre, let it be said. So interesting in terms of the strategy there. Mediums and softs is the way forward in terms of the tyre strategy for this track, of course, depending upon the weather and, of course, any safety car incidents. Let's run on board then with Major Castleman as he approaches the first DRS activation zone. Heading down the straight towards... I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the corners. I'm having myself a moment. Brooklands and Luffield. There we go. But he's going towards Maggots and Beckett's anyway. So into Maggots and Beckett's he goes for the very first time. Let's see what that Sector 2 split looks like as he's about to activate DRS. It's a 103.5 then. Yellow flags waving in Sector 2. That's a slow Ferrari. But the first time on the board is going to be by Major Castleman in the Alpine on some medium tyres for this evening. Through Vale and Club he goes. And it's a 127.3. That is the first time on the board. First time on the board. As Rich Sebi on the soft tyre goes quickest with a 26.8. Also 26.8. It's CJ. A little under 200s between those two guys. Mr. Titan's set time also on the mediums. Let's see if we can capture the Ferrari perhaps. MVA, where's MVA? MVA's just starting his lap then, so into turn 3 he goes. Then turn 4, he is of course now going to head through Aintree. And it's Brooklands. Brooklands is the corner that I was forgetting. It's going to be Brooklands and Luffield. Luffield, the long, never-ending right-hander. Third gear for the Ferrari around there. 3/4, now full throttle up into 4th, deploying ERS. We had a wet quali in Tier 4. And this is obviously Cops. Keeps it valid. That's one of the areas of concern if you want to think about track lap validation, or invalidation as the case may be. 4th gear, red flashing lights. This will be his one run as Bops goes fastest so far with a 26.8. Also 500s quicker than Sebi. Quite a few other laps come in. Oh, out of shape. Gets MVA, and that will be him done. He is going to set a time, but it will be slower. Mintoki, the championship leader, with a 26.4, 4/10 quicker than his counterparts. So this is going to be a slow time now then for AVA. 28.7. That was looking like a good lap. As here comes J-Joe then. J-Joe has had very good qualification pace in the past. Will he be able to manage a good lap around this circuit? 102.9 at the end of Sector 2. More laps coming in all the time. Sharky with a 28 flat. Fatwin with a 27.7. 3 of our guys obviously in the 26.8s. 26.9 for Gwenfro, currently sat P5. Into the Vale chicane. We go, see if he can get a good exit, and then you get through Club at the final turn to hit the line, and it's a 26.6. J-Joe does indeed get a good qualification lap done, and currently sits provisionally with 11.5 minutes to go. Will sit on the front row. Let's see how the V-Carb of Fake Mano's getting on. 27.8 in the first sector. We're looking for something in the mid to late 102s for the second sector. Takes quite a wide angle there through Cops. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel upcoming. Has to lift ever so slightly. Just about manages to keep the lap valid, and that's a little bit slower than he would want. 7/10 off J-Joe, so I guess he's looking somewhere around the 27.3s, depending on how he can navigate his way through Stowe, and then of course down to that Vale chicane. Oh, hits the sausage curb, gets him all out of shape, and he's really good compromise the exit then as he goes through Club, and he does end up with a 27.7 to sit 11th on the grid so far. A few more times have come through. Happy Like Pies has thrown a 26.7 down in the Kick Sauber. What have we got? Black Baller is still in the pit lane. Packets is on an out lap. Sharky on his way back to the pits as well, after setting himself a 28 flat to be currently sat in P14. Is Major Castleman on another run? He's not, no. Gwenfro, no. TJ in the pits, Happy Like Pies will be in. Mintoki on his way back. Angry Shadow is Potentially on a lap here. We'll just see what this split is in the 27s, maybe. Sneaks over to the 28, so he's 9/10 down, so he'll be trying to get himself back into the pits. He's actually taken that spot from J-Jo on the front row, so currently sat in P2. Last year's Tier 5 champion, yes, you heard me, Tier 5, currently sat in Tier 2. Massive improvement from Angry Shadow from all the practice he's done. Kudos to him for all that extra practice that he's been putting in. So we can find ourselves a car on a lap. What do we have? Sebi? Is Sebi on a lap again? Yeah, Sebi's just starting his next run. Good banker lap of a 26.8. Against only 3 drivers in the 26.8s, 1 in the 26.7s, 26.6, 26.5 and 26.4. So a fairly tight grid as it currently stands. There's 12 of you guys in here right now. I hope you're having a great night. Welcome in. This is Moose Racing League MRL Tier 2, round number 4 at Silverstone. My name's Andy Owen and I am looking forward to giving you the rundown on this fantastic race at a fantastic track. Let's hope the weather's just as good as it is right now in qualification. 8th gear. Does he take 8th all the way through? No, does drop to 7th on entry. Gets himself back in terms of the revs. 36% battery remaining. As Packets then does a 26.1. That's a big time. Or not, as the case may be. And that'll be an invalidation there for Sebi. So great lap from Packets then. Excuse me. In the Red Bull. Laying down a marker, 3/10 quicker than the championship leader, Mintoki. Mr. Titan on his next run. Just under 2/10 quicker through the first sector, and he makes his way down to Cops. Again, 7th gear, 50% battery remaining then as he heads towards Maggots and Beckett's. Lovely stuff, and just a fraction bit of overtake there. Still on hot lap, but just a fraction of overtake then. As he heads down towards Stowe. Then it's the tricky Vale chicane. You want to avoid the big orange sausage curb on the inside while still hitting the apex of both turns, as he does nicely. Heading towards Club, and it is a 27 flat, improving up to P10 for Mr. Titan. Yes, Mr. Camus, how the heck are you? MRK is in the house, everybody. City of R. He will be starting his lap now. So, do you know what? Let's ride on board with the Mercedes man as he heads down to turn number 1, avoiding those bumps on the left-hand side of the track that do cost you a few hundreds. Down towards turns 3. He goes clipping the apex quite nicely. Can he get the front end to turn in? He can, just about, wrestling with it on the exit though. DRS wing wide open, of course, on the rear end. There are bumps as well here, so you've got to be real careful. Bumps underneath the bridge, and then it's into Brooklands, clipping the apex nicely there, and then Luffield gets a little bit deep into Luffield, but that will get him a better exit out onto that far left-hand side. You then swing across the track on the curb, on the inside, and then outside again as we head towards Cops, taking plenty of curb on the in, riding out to the far side again and switching back over to get the entry nice into Maggots and Beckett. She can go full throttle into the first 2, and then of course on the exit towards Chapel, it's a little drop down a couple of gears, back up into 7th, 8th, overtake, utilising a lot of overtake down the straight towards Stowe. Back down the hill then. We're all going downhill now, of course, after reaching the top around about turns 13 and 14. Gets a tiny little bit out of shape. 5.5 minutes left in this quality session then. Good time from City of R. Sneaks in front of his teammate by a couple of hundred. City of R 7, Gwenfro in 8. As actually was that Major Castleman now has gone through and put himself on the front row, relegating the championship leader down to P3. But the championship leader is on an outlap. Will Major Castleman get an opportunity to get round and get another running? 26.32. Just under 2/10 behind Packets. J. Joe on a slowdown. CJ back in the pits. City Var, obviously, we've just seen. MVA on a slowdown as well. Is he coming round? No, he's going to dive into the pits. Black Baller then. We'll see for the first time this evening. He's about to start a lap. So whilst we're watching him, Fake Mano had jumped up to P13. Fatweed is on a lap, I believe. Currently sat at the bottom of the stands with a 27.7. Needs a vast improvement if he's going to get himself up into the mix then. Brown Cops into Maggots and Beckett's. Carrying plenty of pace. Little bit wide on the exit into Chapel, but down the long straight he goes then. Has burnt down to 16% in terms of battery. Sketchy, how you doing, buddy? Oh, and round goes Fatweed then. Big mistake. Too much curb on the inside of Stowe. Means he's going to have to dive back in, throw some fresh boots on, and get one final run in to get himself from the back of the grid. Whilst he's doing that, his teammates on a run has improved by 0.3. Can this be enough? Can he get enough in this final sector to snag the provisional pole? He can indeed. Gets into the 25s. First the driver's into the 25 at 25.8. That is some time by Mintoki. Bettering packets by 0.3. Welcome in, Sketchy. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Probably not so much after seeing that, to be fair, that lap. As it stands, everybody now, apart from CJ and Gwenfro, is on a sit down in the pit down. Gwenfro then. So Gwenfro is going to be the first of our cars to set the final lap. Is he going to encounter traffic though? That's the question, because we will see a flood of cars leaving that pit lane now over the course of the next 30 seconds or so. So they can get around and get themselves enough time. Track evolution, of course, is going to play a big part in this final 2.5 minutes of qualification. Nice to see a little bit of banter flying around in the chat, by the way, as here we go then. Gwenfro through the Vale chicane. Can he get a good run and a good start to this lap as he goes through Club to start his final lap? He's looking for, well, he's going to need a full second if he's going to snag pole. Towards the third turn then, nicely through the apex. Heading towards that black box, yellow flags flying in sector 1. As Angry Shadow picks up a 5-second grid penalty coming out the pit lane. That's not going to be good for the man who's currently sat in P4 in the Williams. Getting into it with City of R. Into Brooklands we go then. Clipping the apex on the inside and then a tight line around Luffield. The never-ending corner. More flags in the first sector. Busy down there then. Very busy. We'll be looking for this sector 2 time. We need something in the 102s, Gwenfro. We need something in the 102s. Lifted off the throttle there ever so slightly. And he's actually not... He's had a warm-up lap. He's actually had a warm-up lap. So Gwenfro isn't on a lap right now. Rich Sebi is. A little bit deep into Luffield. That might have cost him a 10th or 2. Now through Woodcote, down towards Cops. For his final run, gets a little bit out of shape, almost invalidates, but hangs on. Remember, we're looking for a 102. As we cross this side, it's going to be rough, though, because he'll have lost more time there. It's a 102.9. He's up a tenth, but that won't be good enough. At present time, he's going to be sat around about P7. If he can get a good exit here, out of Stowe, down towards the Vale chicane. That's qualification. The clock has timed down, so everybody now. 0.3 up to P5. Where is Bops? Bops next one across the line. Then we've got to kick Sauber. Are we going to receive an improvement from Bops? Good exit. Yes, we do. Bops goes up into 6th. Is that Happy next? Happy it is. Up into 4th. Beg your pardon, not 6th. Angry Shadow needs himself a lap. He's a couple of tenths up. But is that Mintoki in front of him? No, it isn't. Mintoki's behind, so we'll stay on with Angry Shadow. Then he is following a McLaren. That is Fatweed. Fatweed gets all out of shape coming through the Vale chicane. Doesn't improve. Angry Shadow up to P3. Mintoki it was that was just on his way down. He's had enough. He's not going to improve. J-Joy improves up to P7. CJ, the last card, and he's invalidated. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Mintoki, the championship leader, will start on pole. Alongside him, it will be Packets in the Red Bull. As we see a marker get destroyed by CJ going sideways through the start gate. Yeah, you seemed a little bit out of shape there, Sebi. On a couple of occasions. But that's the grid, ladies and gents. So once everybody's down and done, we will get ourselves through. But it'll be Mintoki on pole position with Packets alongside him in the Red Bull. McLaren and Red Bull at the front of the grid tonight. Don't worry about it, sketchy. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mintoki on pole in the McLaren, the 25.8, quickest by far. Packets in P2, join him on the front row. Angry Shadow then will have a 5-place grid penalty. It'll be Major Castleman on 3, with Happy joining him on the second row. Third row will be Bops and J-Joe. And then it'll be Angry Shadow and Gwenfro on that 4th row, with Rich Sebi and City of R in 5th row. CJT will be, I think, next to Fake Mano. Yes, he will. Then MVA and Mr. Testarossa. Fine, I'll try. That's good to hear that you'll try during the race. There is a little bit of cloud. There is still sun account. We can see the shadows, of course, of the not the stewarding team. What are the guys in the orange jackets called, folks? My memory's gone. I have bad memory. Marshals. The marshals do have shadows. It's a very quiet pit lane, of course, because everybody is out on the grid, including the mechanics. No fans hanging over the rafters there on the top of the paddock. So, obviously, we've decided not to sell tickets to the top seats there, overlooking the pit lane. So, there is sunshine, of course, with the shadows we can see there from the bridge over the pit lane and the shadows of the marshals. But you can see in the background there, the top right, it does look a little bit cloudy. Thank you very much, Sebi. I did remember it eventually, my friend. Here we go then. It's Sunday night, Division 2, Moose Racing League. And it's showtime! For round number 4, around Silverstone, a great start from the McLaren of Mintoki, with Packets, Major Castleman, Happy, J-Joe and Bops in close contention. We'll take a quick look as well, of course, at some of the strategies. A whole host of cars deciding to start the race on the soft tyre, as we do have yellow flags waving in Sector 1. It looks like Black Ball has had himself a moment. We've got 4 drivers starting on the medium tyre. Bops, MVA, City of R and Black Baller. Everybody else on the soft compound. Soft to medium and medium to soft is your strategy, pending any safety car potentials, of course. Let's have a quick look then as we get towards the end of lap number 1. Or, well, the end of Sector 2 on lap number 1 to see who has made up some ground. A nice view of all these cars running through Maggots and Beckett's, Black Baller, and MVA's had himself a moment as well. Not a good start for the Ferraris tonight with Sharky and MVA in 15th and 17th respectively. But out in front then is the championship leader in the McLaren. It's Mintoki as he heads into the Vale chicane for the first time during this race to lead through lap 1. DRS will be active, of course. Now, these days, it's active after 1 lap, not 2. So after 1 lap, the big winners and losers, Angry Shadow had himself a moment there. Not only a 5-place grid penalty, but he's lost 6 positions off the line as well. He's got himself into something with somebody else as Black Baller heads into the pit lane. Who's another loser tonight? MVA losing. 2 down for City of R, 2 down for Bops. But 4 up for Fatweed. So, although he started at the back of the grid, Fatweed is up. And Major Castleman here trying to make a move on packets as they go through Luffield and head down towards Cops. For the first time, packets relegated down to 3rd. Then up to 2nd is Major Castleman. But they do fly in very close proximity then through Maggots and Beckett's. Rich Sebi and Mr. Titan having a tussle as well. And Rich Sebi comes out on top in that one, moving himself into P10. But is he looking to have another move here? Having a close look at the inside of Fake Mano through Stowe. And then another little peek as they head down to the chicane. But stays in P10 for now. Fastest lap of the race is a 28.9 at the moment by Major Castleman. City of R, 1.3 seconds off the back of Mr. Titan then, so he's lost DRS. First of our drivers to do so. That's in a tussle. And up the inside goes Fatweed, having a challenge. He's going to have to go around the outside at turn number 4. Can he get the move done, or will City of R hang on? It looks like City of R is going to hang on. And there will, of course, be... how have none of them? How have neither of them got DRS there? That's incredible. I've never seen 2 cars not get DRS. Maybe City of R just didn't realise he had it. Don't know who was ahead at the detection zone. Bops and CJ getting into it. Bops left the session. Let me see if I can get... Oh, what am I doing? Oh, we've seen somebody go off there. I can't seem to get anybody on. That looks like Rich Sebi. Rich Sebi's gone off. 3-second time penalty there. Rich Sebi got damage. Relegated all the way back into P15. Fake Mano and Mr. Titan look like a corner cut for a Fake Mano. And out as shape goes Fatweed. That's going to really put him under pressure going through Club. And on the way down to turn 1, he's not got the pace he should have had because of that slight problem coming out of the Vale chicane, which affected him in Club. But City of R, Angry Shadow trying to fight his way back now. Comes together with Sharky through turn number 3, and off goes the Ferrari. And an M plate missing now. An M plate missing on that Williams. Things going from bad to worse for Angry Shadow. It's not been a great start, but look at this from Fake Mano on Bops. Bops losing positions hand over fist. Don't think he's in the lobby. Let me see if I can find him. It's not looking good, lads. Not looking good, lads. Why do I have so... I'm going to have to remove some of these people. It's causing me no end of problems. because we're missing the action. That's where I need a co-coms, guys. I need a co-coms. Anybody willing to step up and do some co-coms with me to help me with this part? I don't even have bops, so it is no good. Right, let's just see if we've missed any action then. Up 6, it's Mr. Titan. Up 7, it's Fatweed. As Bops loses yet another position. Sebi crazy, says Pops. Yeah, Bops is now down 10. He's not in the lobby. We can't get him back in. He's not on my little list, I'm afraid. Angry Shadow has stayed out with that wing damage, by the way. So I'm sure that's going to probably compromise him. Going through Maggots and Beckett's. The high-speed corners is where it'll impact him most. J-Joe. Yeah, J-Joe's making good progress as well. He's moved up 1 position. CJ up 4 positions. Mr. Titan 6. Fatweed up 8 positions. Great start for the McLaren Fatweed. As we come down towards this turn, it's Mr. Castleman, though, that's going to make a move on Mintoki to take the lead of this British Grand Prix. So these 6 cars then, Major Castleman, Mintoki, Packets, Happy, J-Joe and Gwenfro, streaking away from the rest. A 2.4 second gap then, back to CJ in the Aston Martin in P7. Sichivar and Fake Mano getting into it. It's Fake Mano who's actually gone off. So Fake Mano's gone off at the final turn. Cost himself a couple of positions there, and he's back where he started. All the hard work he's done in that first 6 lap been undone by either contact or a mistake coming through club to start lap number 6. So I would imagine that people on the soft tyre will be looking around about lap 12 to come in and strap some fresh medium tyres on. And then your medium runners, the 4 medium runners who are City of R, Bops, MVA. It was Black Bull, but he's thrown on some hard compound tyres. They will obviously go a little bit deeper and longer into this race. But nose to tail then for that top 6. 3.3 seconds now the gap back to CJ. That gap ever growing. Down towards the Vale chicane for the 6th time. And this is where, when we're talking about sim racing, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about that composure. Still a long way to go in this race as these top 6 start lap number 27. Sorry, they don't start lap 27. They start lap number 7. It's all about the composure and the patience. Nothing silly needs to happen this early in the race. Nothing silly needs to happen at any point during the race, but we know this is league racing, this is sim racing, and people like to win. So, do we have any other battles happening? Quite a few gaps happening further down. CJ's running his own race there in P7 with a 3.5 second gap in front and a 4.6 second gap behind. Mr. Titan, though, in the Kick Sauber, the second of our Kick Saubers tonight, with Happy being in that top 4. Mr. Titan does have company in the form of Fatweed, City of R, Angry Shadow, Fake Mano, and Rich Sebi. A little DRS train forming there as well. This game is hardly a sim, but yeah, Pop. It's called sim racing, so that's what I shall refer to it as. Unless you can think of another name for me, whilst we watch Fatweed begin to make a move on Mr. Titan. What we have done while we've been just keeping our eyes on this little tussle, as we've got the Mercedes and City of R as well making a move on Mr. Titan, but Mr. Titan will have the inside line at the first half of the Vale chicane, but there's the outside line for the second half, and it'll be through goes City of R in the Mercedes on this particular moment in time. Whilst we were on board with that, there was a switch for the lead of the race. Mintoki taking the mantle up from Major Castleman. And I'm pretty sure these 6 guys out in front will be working together quite a lot. I think Gwenfro right now is happy just to hang on to the back of this group as we're approaching third race difference. City of R might be begin to see these medium tyres come into their own over the course of the next 4 or 5 laps as the soft runners around him. He's obviously the highest of our medium runners so far. Great stuff from him. He's up multiple positions, of course. Up 9 positions now. We'll start to see some of these tyres go off, but it will be Fatweed relinquishing the position to City of R with that DRS all the way down the straight towards Stowe. Into the pit lane early then. The first 3 into the pits. Mr. Castleman, happy. And CJ. All into the pit lane. To dispatch those tyres. And put on the mediums, not surprisingly. We've got a penalty as well here. Let's just have a quick look at the penalty. 3 seconds for MVA. A punishment for his interpretation of track limits, not matching that of the race, matching that of the race director. And MVA is now in between the fresh medium runners, with CJ actually coming out of the back of that little group. 6 back. So, Major Castleman then 26 seconds behind our race leader, Mintoki. How powerful is the undercut here at Silverstone? CJ overtakes Bops towards the back end of the field. Bops probably still not back in the lobby, which is unfortunate for him. Gwenfro battling it out with J-Jo. Gwenfro up into P3 now. As they both dive into the pit lane. Are we going to see any nudgeroos? No, just about. I think that was just about okay. No penalties for either of those 2 cars. So let's just jump on with Major Castleman again as he now comes round Stowe. Heading down towards that chicane. All downhill then. As you'll see from that beautiful camera angle. So J-Jo, Gwenfro and Fake Mano all in the pits. And Major Castleman with the undercut should best all 3 then, as he now starts the long run down towards turn 1. He will indeed come out before these guys because they've got a little bit further to go, of course, on the inside of turn number 1. And Major Castleman gets out well in front. I tell you who hasn't got out well in front, though. It's Happy, because Gwenfro and Happy, side by side then, going through down towards the DRS zone. Neither of them got DRS. So all the way the drag down to Luffield. Round they go through Luffield then. Woodcote next. Then on that long run down towards Cops. And it'll be Gwenfro on the back of the Kick Sauber of Happy Like Pies. Both of these gentlemen, previous champions, of course, here at Moose Racing League. Packett's 2/10 behind Mintoki at the front. Just loses a little bit of time, actually. It's now 5/10, so something went on with Packett's. But are we going to see Gwenfro then make a move? Look how powerful the DRS is. Gets the job done way before Pops and manages to get himself out into P number 10. Major Castleman 25 seconds now off the back of the leader. So he's only taken 1 second out of Mintoki on these fresh medium tyres. Terrible strategy for JJ, says Pop Plays. I don't know, he's still running in formation, I guess, if you look at the 4 guys on the medium tyre. You'll have a lap extra life in the medium tyres towards the back end of the race over Major Castleman and Happy and CJ. City of R, I would expect, will probably go to lap 16. And I'm expecting Mintoki, Packets, Titan, Sebi, Fatweed and Sharky all to be coming in very shortly. It doesn't look like the undercut has been massively powerful. Major Castlemon was showing good pace, of course, with Mintoki out in front early doors. Mintoki and Packets dive into the pit lane then, and we'll see how much Major Castleman has caught up. So 25.2 seconds was the gap. It doesn't run 100% races, mate. It's only worth 0.35, yeah. Yeah, we don't run them anymore. We focus our attention solely on our normal calendar. So Major Castleman will see himself up to... He does get out in front of Mintoki. So he's got the advantage of warm tyres, of course. So Mintoki's tyres will be a little bit cold. So can Major Castleman get himself into a position where he can extend that gap to over a second? It's currently 0.5. Mintoki just building battery back up at the moment. 10 seconds off the back. So at the minute, net race of the lead, it's Major Castleman with Mintoki, Packets, Happy Like Pies, Gwenfro, J-Jo. That will be your top, what, 6? As it was before the pits started. Yeah, Sebi currently in P2, but of course he's not sunk himself into that pit lane just yet. He'll have work to do to get himself onto those medium tyres, and then he's going to have to play catch-up with quite a few of these cars. Still only one car with track penalty so far as round the outside then. Mintoki down towards Cops for the 12th time as 10 seconds for Rich Sebi in the pit lane. That is a big mistake from the Red Bull driver. That will compromise his race finish. That's absolutely for sure. No longer the GOAT pot plays. We can remove the GOAT tag as City of R out in front now. 10.5 seconds. But of course, yet to pit. And he will pit onto the soft tyre. So it'll be interesting to see how that gap develops. That 10.2 second gap now. Sebi is finished and washed. So everybody on the medium tyre apart from Black Baller, who has made a pit stop earlier on in the race due to having himself an incident. A little look down the inside, Major Castleman. As they go through Brooklands into Luffield and then Woodcote on this run now down towards Cops. I've been calling Stowe Cops. I apologise. These two pretty tight at it. Front row seat for Major Castleman if Mintoki makes any mistakes. We see the rear wing wide open now, and the overpowered DRS allows our Alpine to get past Mintoki here at half race distance. And that gap, you can see the gap now from Major Castleman to City of R down to 9.3 seconds. The grip on these fresher tyres playing right into the hands of our current race leader. A potential mistake from Mintoki as well has allowed Major Castleman to just pull an 8/10 gap. Let's have a quick look at some of our other drivers as well. So Rich Sebi came out of the pit lane in P10. A lot of work to do for him though. 4.7 seconds off the back of MVA, who's yet to pit. But of course that 10-second penalty will hamper him. Mr. Titan's got Fake Mano for company as they head through turns 2, 3 and then into 4. Getting the front of his car turned in relatively nicely then. But Fake Mano will have DRS on this long run then down towards Brooklands. Is he going to make a move up the inside? I would suggest so, looking at that overspeed. And yes, wide then goes the kick Sauber to try and get himself back online to try and create some kind of switchback situation, but it's not going to be capable, or it's not going to be possible for the kick Sauber of Mr. Titan then, as Fake Mano jumps himself up into P number 11. Gwenfro now, 3.1 seconds off the back of Packet. So something's been going down then with these guys. Gwenfro, 3.3 seconds, 3.4 seconds off the back. Happy gets past nice and easy. And now there's a 3.7 second gap. So Happy Like Pies takes up the mantle of the chasing pack then. Major Castleman 3/10 out in front of Mintoki. Packets creates the fastest lap of the race with a 28.6. As City of R eventually does dive into the pit lane to throw on those soft tyres. He'll have work to do though. Can he make the soft tyre sing? Can he get a melody out of that and get himself back up into the mix? Plenty of laps to do so, of course. So Happy Like Pie trying to break the toe then off to the left-hand side of the track, swinging back over to the right as he goes into Brooklands. These three tussling quite tight, and Packets now also on the back of this leading group. So Major Castleman, Mintoki and Packets within 7/10 of each other. Going through Cops into Maggots and Beckett. We do have a yellow flag in sector number 2. Right at the start of that sector. And it looks like that was Angry Shadow in the Williams. Either coming together with Fatweed. As Fatweed's dropped right off. Let's just have a quick check-in with Fatweed then. Because he was going great guns at the start of this race. As Mintoki takes the lead and Gwenfro gets past Happy. I've decided to move to the back of the field at completely the wrong time. Fatweed not having the best middle stint in this race. 1.9 seconds now off the back of Sharky in that Ferrari. Mr. Titan and Fake Mano hauling all over the back of the soft runner now, City of R, who will no doubt have much better grip than those guys. As into the pit lane comes MVA. And Angry Shadow is out. He is retired in the pit lane. He's had himself enough. So no points from Angry Shadow for Williams tonight. The points will rely on Bop. And Bop's 20 seconds off the back of that car, retiring in the pits. MVA does throw on those soft tyres. Out in front, though, the top 3 streaking away. They have checked out from that chasing pack. 4.3 seconds now the gap. Lap 16 of 26 here at Silverstone. This is Moose Racing League. This is Tier 2, Round 4. And we are at the iconic Silverstone, where our intrepid drivers push hard to try and get themselves up onto the top step of the podium. Both guys with the rear wing wide open. We're going to see one move from Major Castleman into Cops. Can he make that move stick? Will Packets get a move done? It looks like Packets might get a better exit on the inside of the Vale Chicane exit, and of course on Club, and gets up into P2, relegating Mintoki, our championship leader, down into P3. It's actually allowed that tussle between Packets and Mintoki. Major Castleman, again, just to create a little bit of a buffer, 6/10 between himself and the chasing 2. He'll be wanting those two guys to fight, of course. They'll hopefully be wanting to work together with each other to close that gap back down again and make it a 3-way battle for the lead of the race. Mintoki makes another move on the inside of Brooklands and does get out in front to make sure that he goes through Woodcote. He will be the car that will be chasing down Major Castleman yet again. Sharky and Mr. Titan just exchanging positions then down towards Brooklands. Gwenfro still got Happy and J. Joe behind. So we've got a 3-way battle for P1. We've got a 3-way battle for P4. Gwenfro covering off on the inside. Are we going to see Happy swoop round the outside at Cops? He's going to give it a go. Does he have the grip to get round? He does have the grip to get round. He's going to be on the inside as well as they get to the Vale Chicane. J-Joe and Gwenfro getting into it. A little bit of wheel banging and rubbing. And it'll be Gwenfro that's relegated back to P6. So more moves, again, in this tight chasing pack. Plenty of time left to go, though. So it looks like a battle between the top three, a battle between these three. We've then got a 3.2 second gap back to CJ, who's, again, still running his own little race here with City of R 6.5 seconds back as he tries to battle Major Castleman, losing out down towards Brooklands. Round Luffield they go. These three cars still tussling it out, still fighting quite hard. Mintoki leading the way. Major Castleman and Packets in hot pursuit. McLaren, Alpine and Red Bull with Kick Sauber, Haas and Mercedes on the chase. But the chase seems to be falling foul of the pace of these three guys who keep exchanging the lead of the race. And Major Castleman will have an look down the inside. Packets, a little moment there for him as he wasn't too sure which way Major Castleman was going to go. J-Joe making a move. J-Joe makes a move. Is Happy going to have the inside at the Vale Chicane, though? I think he is. But it'll be the inside at the first half, the outside at the second half, which will give J-Joe a perfect run down into club to start lap 19 for him. Currently sat in P4. Lots of nice little tussles up at the top. Quite a few gaps created a little bit further on down, of course. But that's okay. Because we've got a couple of spicy little races developing then between the top three and then the next three as well. CJ's just pulled a little bit of time in as well. And City of R is pulling time in on CJ. So can CJ and City of R get up towards the back of Gwenfro and make that a five-way battle for P4? Be interesting to see. Plenty of laps left to go. Let's have a quick check-in with Sharky and Mr. Titan then. As they start their 19th lap. Wide line into the first part of Maggots and Beckett's for the Ferrari of Sharky. Navigates his way through there pretty well. Down to 6th gear. Plenty of curb on the exit through Chapel. Then down that long straight. Underneath the Salesforce bridge. Other CRM systems are available. Looks like Mr. Titan's just a little bit too far back to challenge for that P10. Down here, of course, at MRL, we do award points all the way down to P12. Currently occupied by Fatweed. Fatweed will be looking to try and get himself onto the back of this little battle as well. Out in front, Major Castleman's taken up the role of following my leader. Still only one track limits penalty for MVA. Rich Sebi, of course, with that 10 seconds in the pits. That's his penalty. Better run here, though, for Mintoki. Better run out of Chapel for Mintoki. Right on the back of Major Castleman, down towards Stowe, but doesn't make the move. Major Castleman may well have burnt a little bit of battery. Well, I tell you what, Mintoki is just charging right now. Look at that. 100% battery, no ERS deployment. 92% also for Packet. So the upper hand for the guys sat currently in P2 and P3. As we start lap 21 of 26 here at Silverstone. The battle for P4 goes on as well. CJ is getting himself up to the back of these guys. Look at this. CJ in that Aston Martin has managed to close that gap down as Packets exchanges positions with Mintoki. CJ almost within DRS range of the back of the Mercedes of Gwenfro. Getting himself into the mix for this battle of P4. And Packets actually has gone from P3 all the way up into P1. He now plays role of leader. Let's have a quick look at the fastest lap. Packets has the fastest lap with a 28.6 as it currently stands, my friend. But here comes Major Castleman then looking on the inside of the Red Bull. Sorry, outside of the Red Bull down towards Cops. Stowe? Cops, Stowe. Get those two mixed up. Major Castleman's turn to lead the race. How you doing, D-Master? You okay, buddy? Look how close Mintoki is to the back of the Red Bull of Packets as well. Very close, almost within touching distance. As they all barrel then through the DRS zone. Are we going to see somebody make a move down into Brooklands? We aren't. The run just isn't quite long enough, but can somebody get a better exit? Is Mintoki looking to go around the outside here? No, he's not. He's just going to fall back in behind the Red Bull. As J-Joe now is the leading car in the chasing pack. J-Joe, Happy Like Pies, Gwenfro. CJ still almost trying to get himself into that DRS range. On that rear wing, the gap City of Art, 4.1 seconds. He looks like his race might be done. Had a stinker race though, my own accord. Like what I witnessed in Tier 4. Yeah, well, the less said about Tier 4, the better, my friend. I had another coming together with Pete. Oh, double disaster that for Major Castleman. He's relegated from first down to third. Defensive line from the McLaren of Mintoki then into Vale Chicane. Latter stages of this race then. Oh, a little bit out of shape as well for Mintoki. Just allow Packets to get a little bit out in front. Only half a second, so not too bad. A little bit of a lock-up as well from the McLaren man. As Fat Weed is the second of our drivers to pick up a 3-second penalty. He's been pushing hard to try and get himself higher up the points, but that's not going to work for him tonight now. Happy Like Pies and Gwenfro have both got past J-Joe as well, by the way. So J-Joe now relegated back into 6th, and that has indeed brought CJ into this battle for P4. Happy Like Pies, Gwenfro, J-Joe and CJ all battling it out for P4. CJ's done all the hard work now of getting himself back up into that. Battler's off the track there. Goes, was that Gwenfro going off track? I believe it was. Probably picked himself up a warning. Now, is he going to have enough battery and wing to get himself past the Kick Sauber? If you're going to do it, you've got to go down the inside, Gwenfro. No, you've held back understandably there. Not wanting to compromise your exit. Stowe. Here we go then. Major Castleman having a look up the inside of Mintoki. Can he get the move done? A little bit of contact with the Red Bull out in front. Packets leading the way. Major Castleman gets past Mintoki. Can he hold that position then? They're both going to have DRS on that run down towards Brooklands and Luffield. Lap 24 of 26. Looking down the inside. Major Castleman. Enough room left by the Red Bull of Packets. Nicely done by him, but he's under pressure by these two chasing cars, Alpine and McLaren. Gets a good exit though and gets 3/10 out down the road as they head down towards Cop for the 24th time. Who's got the better run? Who's got the better grip then as we head down towards Packers? J-Joe is out of the race. He's lost the car. coming through Woodcote, and he's out on lap 24. That frees up CJ on the soft tyres. CJ on the medium tyres to try and get himself up towards Gwenfro and Happy. Packets, Major Castleman, Mintoki. Packets is coming up to a back marker of Bops as well. So let's hope that AI does indeed get out of the way in good time. Mintoki applying the pressure then to the Alpine and Major Castleman here on lap 25. It's the penultimate lap of the British Grand Prix. Is this car going to get itself out of the way? It just about gets itself out of the way. But we are going to see Major Castleman look to the inside, are we? No, decides better of it. Wasn't too sure whether or not he'd cleared the Williams. And whether or not Mintoki was going to be on his inside as well for that switch across. Penultimate time then through Maggots and Beckett's. What are we going to see from these three front runners? Happy Like Pies, Gwenfro, and now CJ tussling it out for P4. Like we have been doing for probably the last 5 or 10 laps. As out in front. Out in front, Mintoki's had himself a moment. Mintoki's dropped off the back. So 2 seconds the gap now, Mintoki. He's had a moment. The championship leader down into P3. No chance of getting back with these two. It's Packets and Major Castleman for the win then. Lap 26 of 26 here at Silverstone in Division 2 of Moose Racing League on Sunday night. Make sure you hit that follow button. If you haven't already, of course it's a subscribe button, not a follow button, but you know exactly what I mean. So patience then from Packets. Won't wanting to make a move yet. He'll be saving it for that straight after Chapel. After Chapel and down towards Stowe. That's what he'll be saving it for. 3/10 the gap. And we may as well go on board. So Mintoki and the Red Bull make contact. Okay, interesting. Here we go then. So, provisional. Wing wide open. Big defensive line taken by Major Castleman. If you're going to go, you've got to go around the outside. Major Castleman last of the late breakers. Contact between the two, though. As they race down towards the Vale chicane, side by side. Inside line for Packets at the first half. Major Castleman on the inside at the second half, though, will he? No, he can't muscle his way past. Packets will retain the lead through Chapel into Club, and that's it. Not Chapel, Club. Major Castleman relegated into second place because Packets in the Red Bull wins the British Grand Prix. Major Castleman second, Mintoki third. Happy Like Pies does indeed claim fourth place from Gwenfro in fifth. CJ in sixth. City of R comes through to claim seventh. It'll be Fake Mano crossing the line for eighth. Sharky in ninth. Mr. Titan will come round in the Kick Sauber now to claim P10. Fatweed eventually does get himself actually up into P11, of course, because of the DNF of J-Joe. MVA then coming into Vale Chicane and Club to claim P12. And the final point of the night here in Division 2, provisionally, of course, because I'm pretty sure the stewards will have a look at 1 or 2 incidents from this evening's proceedings. Rich Sebi has indeed crossed the line. Black Baller will be the final driver to cross the line here for Moose Racing League. Tier 2 at Silverstone. There it is then. There's your podium, ladies and gentlemen. Red Bull on the top set at Silverstone. Not for the first time. And then P2, Major Castleman. So Packets P1, Major Castleman P2, and Mintoki P3. Let's head off to the final standings page. Mr. Titan, you did indeed get points, my friend, in P10. Well done to you. But it's Packets in the Rebel that takes the race win and the fastest lap, so 26 points for him. Major Castleman in the Alpine P2. P3, it's Mintoki. P4, Happy Like Pies in the kicks out with the Mercedes of Gwenfro in P5. Aston Martin CJT in P6. P7, it's City of R in the Mercedes. P8, Fake Mano in that V-Carb. The Scuderia Ferrari of Sharky P9. Mr. Titan P10. P11, it's Fatweed. P12, it's MVA. Red Bull's Rich Sebi P13 after that penalty. V-Carb's Black Baller P14. And then Bops in P15 with J-Joe and somebody else. Angry Shadow in DNF territory.